Another week, another Monday, another afternoon to be a great person and to smash your goals. How are you doing? Hello and welcome to NTA2 Hanging Out TV show on your Reach Out station. I am Nneamaka Nwadei, aka Nne the Queen. And it's a delight to be on the show, spending the better part of 1 hour with you. Today's episode promises to be exciting, to say the least. We have amazing guests in the studio. They are going to be talking to us about some important things, and I am sure that by the time you see them and know who they are, you'll be equally excited about what they've come to talk to us about. We have great music videos for you. We have requests that we're going to play, and I can assure you that at the end of the show today, you're going to feel recharged to carry on with your duties for the day. We'll start Hanging Out TV show with our first music video, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. That was Hallelujah by Simi and Johnny Drill. That song is a favorite for so many people. My baby loves me. Hallelujah. Oh, what a joy to love and be loved back, right? That's what the song is about. If you're just joining us, you're welcome to Hanging Out TV show. Remember, you can follow us on all our social media platforms. On Instagram at Hanging Out TV show. On Twitter at NTA2LNC with the hashtag Hanging Out TV show. On Facebook at NTA2 Lagos Network Center. And last but not least, you can check us out on our website at www.nta2.tv. Now, before we go ahead on the show today, I want you to see. You see this shirt I'm wearing? I have to mention it. Can you see my face? So I'm smiling on my shirt and I'm smiling. One for the camera. This shirt was given to us, myself and Yetunde Aremu, by one-time guest on the show, Mad Wale. Mad Wale is a creative artist and a designer, and this is what he does. And we brought him on the show to talk about his art and his work. Oh yes, thank you, director. So we brought him here, and he promised to get us special shirts. And look at it. Look at me. Me, and see my name, Nne the Queen. This is going to go down in the history books. All right. Thank you very much, Mad Wale. This is an amazing piece of art that I'm wearing. You know, I feel so good about it, and I'm sure Yetunde also loved hers. It's just beautiful that I get to have my face and wear my face. Okay, moving on. So many things happened over the weekend on social media. You know, social media is the place that a lot of Nigerians congregate when they can't go anywhere, when they can't do anything. It was released in the news that there's a second wave of coronavirus. So for the people that have been saying Corona no dey Naija, maybe now it has registered in your consciousness or your subconsciousness, whichever one you operate on. Let's always remember to use our nose masks. We now have to remember to use our nose masks. A lot of us have gotten maybe a little too comfortable with just moving around without, safety precautions. Keep your distance. No more owambears, right? How does that feel when we've already gotten comfortable? We're wearing fine dresses and outfits and going out. Things are going back to high security level. So we must make sure that we do our part, all right? You can join the conversation on our Twitter page with the hashtag Hanging Out TV show. Let us know what you feel about this. Do you think that we're going to have another lockdown? Presently, the governor of Lagos State is in isolation because the news reports that he has also been affected by the coronavirus. So if you're thinking that nobody's going to do anything, then maybe this should let you have a rethink, right? So we have two guests that are going to start Hanging Out TV show with me. I'm going to be introducing them after our next break. But what I want you to know about them, just a little info, is that they are the people that you will see whose names will go down in history as the group of people and the person that is putting Nigeria on the world map in the Oscars category. All right? So let that sink in. We'll go on our next music break and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. That was SMA Send Me Away by Nasty C featuring Rolene. Now, Nasty C is a South African artist that has become one of the loved musicians in Nigeria due to his collaborations with other Nigerian music artists. So it's always great to see the work that he does, and he's quite a creative person because the songs that I have seen him take part in and the music videos that I've seen him shoot are videos that make you just want to listen to, you know, what he's saying and just enjoy the lyrics of the song accompanied by the video, the content in the video. I have my first guest in the studio right now joining us on Hanging Out TV show. Now, there are two people right now sitting beside me. The first person I knew as a DJ who was a mentor, who is a mentor and an inspiration to so many other, you know, upcoming DJs. Upcoming then, who are now also established. He was always the name. And I'm sure if I mention the name, you're going to know who it is. But he's not here in DJ capacity right now. He's here as a representative of the Nigerian Oscar Selection Committee. And I'm talking about none other than DJ T, whose real name is Adetokunbo Odubawo. Did I get that?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
And I also have with me in the studio the representative, I like to call him the representative of the Nigerian face right now of Oscar representation. I don't know if that made sense. But he's right now our representative at the Oscars because he wrote, produced, and directed the Nigerian film that has been submitted for an award category at the Oscars, at the Academy Awards. And I'm talking about Mr. Desmond Ovbiagele. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Now, you know, I said earlier that when I introduce the guest, you're going to see why they are very significant today on the show. Nigeria has never had a representation at the Oscars. We were going to have one last year, but due to language issues, the submission, the entry was rejected, was disqualified. And now we have a film that is going to the Oscars representing Nigeria, and they are going to win. Okay.
Amen.
I like that. Thank you. You're welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Congratulations to you,
Thank
and
you.
congratulations to you. So I'm going to start with you, DJ T. Can I call you DJ T?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay. DJ T, you're here as a representative of the Nosc,
Yes.
the Nigerian Oscar Selection Committee. We're going to talk about what it's about, but first I want to ask, how is it for you as not just a music entrepreneur and a filmmaker? How has it been for you to be on such a body that is putting Nigeria in the spotlight?
Okay. First thing first, I would like to let you know that is no more Nigerian Oscar Selection Committee. Is now a Nigerian official.
Okay.
Yes.
Official Selection Committee.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
So how does it feel to be on the Nosc? It's just a 12-man team.
Well, yeah. I was honored when I was called upon, and the 12-man committee, of course, is made up of professionals in the industry. I mean, we have actors, we have scriptwriters, we have directors, producers, cinematographers. I mean, where I belong, and we have more of professionals out there, but it's just a 12-man committee, and everybody was happy and privileged to be part of, and it's chaired by another filmmaker, Chineze Anyane Ayobi, who is our chair. I hope I pronounced that
Yes,
surname
you
very well.
did.
You know, she's the chairperson for the committee, and it's. At first, I thought it was going to be a very difficult task, but to be honest with you, it's not. It's just very simple. I mean, we just have to follow the rules in, you know, bringing out the perfect movie.
Okay. All right. You said something that I was going to mention, but you've already talked about it, about how there are so many professionals in the country, but it had to be just a committee of 12 people.
Yeah.
And now you have been, I won't say burdened, but you bear the responsibility of picking out a film, just one film, out of the many that are produced yearly to represent Nigeria at the Academy Awards. And when we were going through the brief, we saw that there were other films that were also submitted, for the awards. So how were you able to select the And I'm asking the JT these questions first because, now there's a group of people that have come together to say we will stand in for Nigeria, and then we will pick a Nigerian and say this is who is our best foot that we're putting forward. And then there's the best foot, so we will come to the best foot that they've put forward. But I'd like us to, for the sake of our viewers, want to know how you selected or how you go about the process of selecting a movie. What are the criteria? Everybody knows it was a language thing that disqualified the entry for last year. That would have been our first, but now the Milkmaid is our first submission. So what are the criteria that you look out for to select a movie?
Okay, like you rightfully said, there were a lot of movies that were submitted, and there will always be just one.
Yes.
Every other movies that were not that were submitted did good. I mean, there were good productions as well, but there are rules that we have to follow, the Academy rules, and those rules, which a lot of the other movies they tried, but they did not meet up with the requirements, the technical specifications and all that, which are, I mean, there is 5.1 surround in terms of audio. It's not just stereo. It has to be 5.1 or 7.1 surround sound. And for the quality of the movie, in terms of the picture enhancement, which we call the grading, it has to be a top notch. We're talking about Oscars here. Worldwide. It's not just within us. And to be honest with you, a lot of movies they've been coming out with good production compared to 10-15 years ago. Even though we started a bit late, but we're getting there. I mean, 2-3 years ago, you can see movies chunking out with good production, but it's just that there are some parts of the technical aspect that other movies fail, and for Milkmaid, they actually, like for every,
they meet all the standards,
with all the specifications, from the IRE scope limiter, they didn't overexpose, underexpose. The sound was 5.1 surround. Even the subtitles for Oscars is very, very critical. I'm sure this is the first time you're going to be like subtitle. There's a font size.
Okay.
You can't just make it just like the way you like it. No, there's a font size. It shouldn't be bigger, not too bold, not too small, and all that. You see, all these have to be put into consideration, and that's why I said there are rules, and we send out all these technical specifications to all the filmmakers out there. And as well, we're thinking of there's something we came about with the other committee members from next year, which we're thinking of. No, we think we're going to actually share that. The chairperson, Mrs. Chineze, she came up with this idea, SWI, shoot with intention. So now, because a lot of people, they just shoot their movies, and when they call for entries, they just bring their movies and they fill a lot of specifications and all that. But from next year now, I believe a lot of filmmakers will now
SWI, shoot with intention.
Intention for the Oscars.
Thank you. So that we can have more people.
Yes, exactly.
In the spotlight.
Yes.
Okay. Now moving on to our best foots that we've put forward for the Oscars. Writer, producer, and director of the Milkmaid. There's an article that had a headline, "From investment banking to Nollywood, filmmaker goes for broke," with your name, Desmond Ovbiagele. So, Desmond, you don't fall into the category of people that make films every year, in quote, or make films back to back to back because they just want to be out there in the, in the space of filmmakers. Your last recorded film was 2014. That's
Very true.
That's 6 years,
quite
and in 6 years, a regular, in quotes, a regular filmmaker would have done maybe 100 films, So tell us, why did you choose to toe this line of not releasing? We're going to come to the Milkmaid, but just for us to have an understanding about, the way you operate, what inspires you to do the work of creating stories that can capture the attention of viewers, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world. What inspires you to create?
Well, thank you very much. I think there's a lot going on in our society, in our environment. And, you have opinions and viewpoints on what's prevailing in the environment. And as someone who has discerned that I have some creative tools at my disposal, I feel a burden to at least express myself through those tools. I shot my first film in 2014. It wasn't my desire to shoot my next film in 6 years' time after that. Left to me, I'd like to shoot a film every single year. But apart from the fact that the journey of any film takes time, particularly based on the sort of film that you've shot. Sometimes it can take a year, sometimes 2 years, sometimes 3 years. But also apart from that, I also need to be inspired to shoot a film. Yes, I am inspired by commercial considerations, but I'm also inspired by what the film stands for. And it's not, I don't find it easy to just latch onto a certain theme or topic and jump to set and say I'm shooting. I need to develop that topic, do research, raise the financing, cast it, put all the production elements together to the sort of quality that I'm trying to attain, and that takes time. So, yes, 6 years hopefully won't happen again. That's where we are.
All right, and now your second film is the film that we will all know for a lifetime as the first entry to make it to the Academy Awards, The Milkmaid. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So you SWI'd. You shot with intention.
I shot with an intention.
Okay.
Perhaps not the Oscar intention particularly, but I shot, and we all shot because it's a collaborative effort. We shot with the intention of ensuring that our film could play in any theater around the world. Now, the technical requirements of our theaters are one thing, but if you want to play in LA, you want to play in Paris, you want to play in Berlin, they have their standards both technically and creatively. And we had to ensure that right from the beginning we shot our film to at least have a chance of our film playing on any platform in any corner of this world.
Yeah. And look at that. Taking something away from here. Do your work with the excellence that it can be presented anywhere in the world. So you're not just talking about Nigerian standard or what is the MO and what we are used to, but something that will even outlive you, because the Milkmaid will definitely outlive you. We're going to come back and talk more about the Milkmaid, but we're going to show you right now some behind the scenes. So stay with us and we'll be right back.
Camera set. Action.
The story of the Milkmaid is a story of two sisters who are living their lives as milkmaids in the village. And the younger sister is in the process of getting married, and that wedding happens. But right in the middle of the wedding, they encounter an attack by extremists and get taken away from their village, relocated to the camp of the extremists, and there they undergo the process of indoctrination and basically a new way of living which they are not accustomed to. So the story is about how the sisters adjust to the new situation they find themselves, and how those interactions and that encounter affects their lives and affects their relationships between themselves and the wider society. The idea of the story was to take a look at some of the victims of the insecurity situation in the country. Now, we've been reading about various reports of casualties of insecurity in the country, but what we don't usually have are stories behind the people involved in this crisis. What we see are the statistics, 10 people died, 15 people died, 50 people died, but we get to know nothing about these people as human beings, their lives, their loves, their desires, their hopes. So the film really aims to train a spotlight on the lives of the people caught up in the insurgency situation in the country. Now, basically, I did a lot of extensive research across, primarily online, some interviews with some people connected to the insurgency. But there's a lot of material online, a lot of material from various agencies and stakeholders involved as either security officers or as welfare agencies, AIDS workers, and the victims themselves. So a lot of material was gone through to try and arrive at what I hope to be a very credible and authentic depiction of the people involved in the crisis. Writing scripts is never easy, and it took a lot of research to be able to come up with the final shooting script for this film, because I had to read probably over 300 articles.
Welcome back. That was some footage from the production process of The Milkmaid, and I still have with me in the studio DJ T, a member of the Nigerian Official Selection Committee and the writer, producer, and director of Nigeria's Best Foot at the Oscars in 2021, Desmond Ovbiagele. Thank you once again for joining us. Now, we have heard that The Milkmaid was inspired by the 10 naira notes of the Nigerian, of course, the Nigerian currency, the 10 naira notes. Can you tell us about it? Did you look at the note and say, wow, this has a story, or there could be somebody like, please just tell us how did you connect the 10 naira note to this big story of insurgency in The Milkmaid?
One of the things I wanted to do with The Milkmaid was have an opportunity to showcase the richness of Nigerian culture to an external audience.
Okay.
And we have so many different cultures. I myself am from Edo State. But in terms of, excuse me, in terms of the characters involved in the theater of conflict, they obviously come from a certain part of the country. And coincidentally, you have those iconic images at the back of the Nigerian 10 naira note who represent not just a certain ethnic tribe in the country, but also a certain social strata. Because they're not like you and I, they're not well-to-do, they're frequently not educated. But these people represent the people most affected by the insurgency. They are living, in some ways, economically on the periphery of the society. And I thought it was important that their story should be told. Because, we all have voices in different ways, but these people typically don't have a voice. And I thought that, we who do have a voice can use the voice that we have to represent people at that level of society.
Okay, and some parts of the video are showing right now as you're speaking, so people can see what exactly you're talking about. Now, The Milkmaid was shot in Fulfulde.
In Hausa, with a little Fulfulde and just a little Arabic.
Okay, how did you... I saw some part of the script. How were you able? You're not Hausa.
Sadly.
So how were you able to interpret an entire script? I'm sure that there were so many people who worked with you to, make this a success. But how easy was it for you to, move from an English idea to a Hausa interpretation? And we know that you shot in Taraba, in Taraba State. So after this, I'm going to ask you: did you face any security risk? But first of all, how were you able to, translate? Because we're not just going to be translating word for word. It's translating the entire meaning of a script, of an idea that came in English into that language. How easy was it, and how were you able to do that?
Well, it took time, it took resources, and as you very rightly said, it took the collaboration of several people to actually do that. So, excuse me. So, translating the script from English to Hausa was one level. That took time. It took effort to do that. But then, you now have the script in Hausa. Then you actually have to direct the actors, several of whom can probably get by a little on Pidgin English. English itself, not so much. So basically, you have to go through an intermediary to try and explain and convey what you intended that character to do and to feel and to say. And that's a process, and that takes time. So yes, we probably shot for longer than we would have if we're shooting an English film, because you just spend much more time having to
translate the idea.
Exactly. Exactly. That's very correct.
Apparently it paid off, because...
Well, yeah, we thank God it's not an automatic process that it pays off, so we're really grateful to everyone who contributed to it paying off.
Okay. Now, DJT, now that we have, gotten one foot in the door as a country, as Nigeria, we now have an entry. It has met all the requirements. What would you say is the future? Do you think that the present crop of filmmakers, do you think they will be able to continue to meet the standard or surpass the standard when it comes to making films of international repute?
Well, to be honest with you, especially with the SWI targeting, a lot of people will definitely now shoot towards that standard.
Okay.
We have standard movies, but now they want to do better, better to the level of, when they submit, it can also represent the country. If you remember last year we had a great movie as well, but the Matrix, there's a matrix for calculating the language. It's supposed to be an international language category film, and it failed because they said the language part in the movie was not up to. That the English part was more than the local language, and that's one of the reasons for this year they approved the Pidgin. They recognized the Pidgin language for it to be accepted. So if you have a film that's is all in Pidgin, because last year if that wouldn't have passed, it's either you speak full native language, but they see Pidgin English like it's still English, and that's why they created a matrix of, we have to go back and forth, letting them know that, look, it's part of our language. That's why you could see, like a colleague of mine, Victor Kai, was saying in one interview that BBC had to set up BBC Pidgin. There's BBC Igbo, there's Yoruba, there's Hausa, there's all that. So those are one of the things that they sat back to have a meeting over there, and there's the academy, and they now said, okay, they will now accept Pidgin English. So for a lot of Pidgin English movie makers,
it's a win for them.
It's a win, but other requirements also
like
is
the
necessary.
5-1.
The 5-1 surround, the picture quality, the IRE, of course. The story,
DJT, all these things, they are so technical. What is IRE and 7-1?
Well, 7-1 is like the upgraded version of the 5.1 surround.
Okay, sound.
Okay. Even though it's not yet everywhere in the whole world, But that's why they didn't have it as, they didn't peg it.
Okay.
They still have the 5.1 surround, which is universal and all that. I mean, Milkmaid did that. They have that was the first thing,
Yes.
like, okay, 5.1, because a lot of movies in Nigeria don't go for 5.1, they still like, but you have to. Even the cinemas now do have 5.1 surround. That's when you go to the cinemas to watch movies, you hear sound coming from your right, left,
it's everywhere.
it's everywhere.
Surround, yeah.
That's
Yes.
surround sound.
Yes, surround.
Even at home now, home theaters, they're all 5.1 surround.
But seeing as so many, you also mentioned when you were speaking about why it took you a while to get your next film done. You talked about getting the story, believing in the story, and then also speaking to people to fund
Yes,
your
correct.
project.
That's correct.
Don't you think that one of the reasons why some filmmakers cannot come forward to present their films is budgets and availability of funds, because that's one thing. If we're going to talk about how well people are doing, we're also going to talk about how much support that they have.
Yeah.
So what would you say can be done for people who want to create with intention, shoot with intention? What would you say can be done? I mean, you're inside, you're in the official selection committee, so you probably can share for the benefit of the people watching. What do you think they can do?
Well,
because not everybody will be able to
Exactly.
afford
To be honest with
get
you.
surround sound 5.1 in their movies.
To be honest with you, you see, the budget part, I will not be able to speak on that aspect. I mean, for every filmmakers out there, they know their budgets, they know what they want to work with. But I will appeal to them to, when they're planning their next project, they need to take it a bit, higher than the way they've been
So they
shooting
should
before.
look forward
Because
when they're
now,
planning.
because now, the kind of cameras you probably want to use to shoot your film might not be the ones you've been, especially, I mean, I don't want to start mentioning names here, but and also doing a 5.1 surround sound is not cheap, is another thing entirely. Right from the set, from your sound recordist. It's not just having lapel mics and booming and that and the hands there. No, there's a lot. You need to do what we call mix down, even right on set. There's always an audio village somewhere.
Okay.
So I mean, for most films that you see that is done here, you just see a sound guy
And somebody
and he's
holding-
booming and the hands there. No, professionally, there's a village somewhere that the guy is sending sound to, and the guy there is mixing down,
It's already
cutting down the
doing
dB.
everything.
Even though there's still going to be
Treatments.
sound mixing, all that in post-production, but right on set they're doing a lot,
Okay.
so there's a lot, so it involves money. So
Yes.
I'll tell them, try
We hear
to
you.
increase your executive producers, look for more money, and
And
government as well.
SWI.
Yeah, and SWI. Yes.
SWI involves a lot of money.
And just to add to what DJT said, I think the filmmakers also need an incentive. They need to see examples that, if we do A, B, C, D, and E, we will get F. So they're going to be watching films like The Milkmaid to see, okay, you guys spent so much money. Where is the film going to? How
what
far
has
did
it
it go?
done?
What has it done, both critically and commercially? And once they see tangible, attractive results, I can assure you, Nigerians are, they're not.
They will take a bold
yeah,
step.
of course, they
They will
take
take
a
a
cue
bold-
from there and plunge it.
They might be scared at the moment, like, I don't want to spend too much money, I don't know.
What
But
if
with
it
this
falls short?
now, I'm sure next year you'll see you'll see entries. I'm sure there will
looking
be a lot of
forward-
competition.
I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
next year to see the kind of films that will also
So
be
am I.
submitted.
Absolutely.
Now, you worked with people in Taraba State, in Kannywood. That's the
Well, Kano is actually Kano.
Kano,
Yeah. So Taraba State is an outlier in terms of the film industry.
So are they, as they're being outliers, does it mean that the people there just are in a world of their own? I'm asking because I want to ask how you were able to select the talent that you chose to work with. Because most times people like to see movies according to the popularity
See.
of the actor, but you went against that grain, because maybe in Taraba they are popular people, but for the rest of the world
Industry.
it's like they're new people. So how were you able to select the talent you worked with, and what was it like filming in Taraba? You know, I said we're going to talk about if you faced any security challenges. So tell us about the experience.
Well, working in Taraba State was, I think for me, was a pleasure.
Okay.
First pleasure is the topography of the state. The landscape is absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Jalingo, Gashaka, and of course the famed Mambila Plateau. Absolutely amazing to shoot. And then of course the actors themselves, we had a couple of auditions at which we invited actors. And they came, and such a depth of talent in Taraba State, not popular, but very, very technically sound, particularly when speaking the Hausa language. So very gratified working in Taraba State. We had very good cast, we had a very good crew. Some came from outside Taraba, but some also from Taraba State itself.
Okay.
So it was a very rewarding experience professionally to shoot them. In terms of security challenges, I think, Taraba State has its issues in terms of security. Every state in the country has its issues. But in terms of whether we're directly impacted in Taraba State while shooting, no.
Okay.
And we were there for 3 months.
Okay.
So we shot. No one, we didn't face any direct threat to our beings or to our equipment, so we thank God for that.
Okay, we have a question from Twitter now. Can we see the question, please? Somebody asked a question. Okay, Droid Tarat says, at NTA to LNT, excellent afternoon. My question goes to Desmond. Considering the fact that the northern part of Nigeria are really conservative people, how did you break the barrier of shooting the film about their insecurities?
Well, I think once we explain to them, they're also Nigerians. They also want to see insecurity end as well. So once we explained what the reason was for shooting the film, trying to focus on the experiences of the victims particularly,
okay,
you understand, they supported us wholeheartedly. And actually they were giving us ideas we didn't even think of.
Wow.
So they really threw themselves into the production and really lent a lot of support in us getting to where we are today. Okay,
we have another question. Okay. What criteria did the Milkmaid pass for it to be nominated? Okay, DJ T, I think you talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Talked about sound.
The picture quality. In essence, the whole production, yes.
All right, so Director, I hope that answers your question. We're going to go now and watch the trailer of The Milkmaid, and when we return, Hanging Out continues. Stay with us.
Lura da Zainab shine manufana a rayuwa.
Za mu koya miki yanda ya kamata har ki ce da mu kin gode.
Na yanke shawarin zan aurar da wannan mata.
Ba za ki bi umarni na ba. Daga mi ita daga nan.
Idan ta mutu ma, haka Allah ya so. Ki shirya kamar mace ta gari. Ina zuwa juma'a da dare.
Hakan ya tabbatar da cewa aikin mu mata ba kuka kawai da kula da gida idan mazan ba su.
Ya matarka.
Ta fita nema kamar kullum. Ba za mu iya ba. Babu ma wanda zai iya.
Zamuje. That was the trailer of The Milkmaid, and come 2021, I sincerely hope that this film that has been our best leg forward at the Academy Awards will take that award home, you know. to the delight of everybody. We're going to continue this interview, but we have a music request that we're going to take right now, and this song is titled Majo by Nwadei. When we come back, we still have our guests in the studio. Stay with us.
Resound with shouts of joy. Come join me, praise His name with dancing. Let's make melody to Him. I just can't keep quiet about you, Lord, for you've been so good.
There's going to be a lot of dancing, irrespective of the coronavirus, because it is the festive period. Very soon now, people are going to be wearing, Christmas clothes, and I can't remember the last time my parents bought me anything for Christmas, so I've accepted my fate. But to the other young people that are still making Christmas hair, enjoy it. It will soon be over. If you're just joining us, you're welcome to Hanging Out TV show. We have spent an amazing time so far with our guests, with a representative of the Nigerian Official Selection Committee for the Academy Awards in person of DJT, and with the writer, producer, and director for the submission for the Oscars 2021, Mr. Desmond Ovbiagele. You can watch all our programs on our website at www.nta2.tv. You can follow us on our Facebook page at NTA2 Lagos Network Center. You can join our conversation on Twitter at NTA2LNC with the hashtag Hanging Out TV Show. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram at Hanging Out TV Show. We've had some people send in questions. We've had some questions from Twitter talking about the selection criteria, and also a question for the writer, producer, and director. And while that music video was going on, I asked how he felt at the end of the shoot. There was this long-standing series, Game of Thrones, that ended a while ago, and there was somebody who had withdrawal symptoms. He was feeling some kind of way, trying to detach himself from the character, and it was all over social media. So I was asking Desmond Ovbiagele how it felt. He said he was glad to be done. So now that the Milkmaid is out there, what next? What happens next?
Well, thank you very much again to the Nigerian Official Selection Committee for selecting our film. The journey actually starts now because we'd love to do Nigeria proud by representing the country, and it's very important that we push as hard as we can to try and progress beyond the preliminary voting stage of the Academy into the shortlist of 10 in February, and then the shortlist of 5 in March. But there's a long journey between where we are right now and that particular stage, and we actually need the support of the public and private sector in terms of funds to enable us execute a high-impact publicity and lobbying campaign for the Milkmaid to bring the film to the attention of the key stakeholders in that process, the Academy voters, so they are aware of the Milkmaid, and we try and showcase the film to its best possible and positive extent to give ourselves a chance at progressing beyond the preliminary stage. So we actually solicit as much support as we can get from patriotic Nigerians and corporate institutions to support us financially to enable us mount that very intensive and high-impact campaign.
Okay. As you were speaking, something came to mind. Nigerians we're very lively people. And there's this video going around on social media. If somebody wants to ask for something, they will just put powder in their hand. And they will call the person's name and do. So do we need to for anybody? I just thought I should ask.
Well, it's a fair question. I'm hoping that just on the strength of my pitch, they can take heart and take some encouragement.
Your pitch plus some powder.
Plus some powder. Wow. Okay. Well, if that's what gets it done.
Wow. And also, I'd like to say again that this is such a big win, not just for Nigeria, but for undergraduates and people who are coming into the industry. While the video was going on, I was talking about how a student of drama myself, the standard before was just Africa and getting recognized in Nigeria. But now for so many people coming into the industry, they can see that this particular ceiling has been broken. You have penetrated that space. that international award space, and now we're not just competing amongst ourselves. It's like when they say think out of the box, now we're asking what box exactly? Are we thinking about the Nigerian box, the African box, or are we thinking about the whole world box, you know?
I think the sky is the limit, as you said. I'm glad to hear you say you are a theatre arts and drama graduate. Our lead actress, one of our lead actresses, Nneamaka Nwadei, is a theatre arts graduate from ABU.
Wow.
And I'm sure, she didn't imagine, that, she would act in a film, her very first film. She's never acted in any film before.
Wow. And
by the grace of God, see where it's taken her to. So you can never tell. Just put in your best and continue to apply yourself. You can never tell what can happen.
Put in your best and continue to apply yourself, because you never can tell what will happen. Thank you. I'm keeping that in my pocket.
I knew you were going to do that.
It's been so good having you on the show, and I wish you the best. This is now our journey.
Yeah.
This is now our thing. Thank you for making us proud. Thank you. So much. Because indeed, it always takes sometimes somebody to take the first step.
Absolutely.
And when people see that it can be done, we go ahead and do greater things.
And I'd also like to thank the Nigerian Official Selection Committee. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Nigerian Official Selection Committee. So, final word from you before we go. Your word out there to filmmakers and Nigerians alike.
Well, it's simple. Shoot great films and make it standard, and we see it. It passes all the requirements. We'll send it.
Once it passes all the requirements.
Oh, yes.
SWI, man.
She's with intention.
She's with intention. And how about you, Mr. Desmond?
Well, my last word is, two last words. One, keep shooting for your dreams. You can never tell what will happen. Nigeria is a very blessed, very talented country. Please continue to, execute and stay faithful to your calling. And the second one is, please, we need your support. The Milkmaid, Oscars, 2021, please get in touch. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And that is the wrap on Hanging Out TV show. Final word from me. Follow us on our social media platforms, all right? And we'll be here again next week, Monday, by the grace of God. Till I come your way again, always remember that there is nothing too small that you can do to make the next person happy, all right? Be kind and make somebody smile. It's simple. See you next week. Goodbye.
Showing me around like I lost my way, telling all your friends.